Good evening. Today we're talking about the first principle of the 4 principles of success taken from the Bhagavad Gita. The first principle of success is Socham, to live with honor. Socham, the Sanskrit word Socham, literally means purity. To live with honor is to live with a certain kind of purity. What does it mean to live with honor? What is this purity that Krishna is talking about with Arjuna? This is a purity of motive. This is a purity of understanding who we are, what we want, and why we want the things that we want in life. That's purity. That's understanding. When Krishna talks about purity, he's not talking about cleanliness in the sense of taking a bath in the morning or keeping the house clean. This Socham, this means purity of motive, a transparency in who we are. This transparency has to be reflected in 3 aspects of life: our actions, our words, and our thoughts. When our actions and our thoughts and our words are all in alignment, are all in harmony, that's when we have purity of motive. That's when we are living with honor. Our words are not different from our actions. Our thoughts are not different from our words. What we say, what we do, and what we think are all in harmony. We're not doing one thing one day, saying one thing the next day, and thinking something entirely different another day. Everything about us is in harmony. That's the principle of Socham. That's the principle of living with honor. Because when all these things are in alignment, when these 3 aspects of life are in alignment, we become extraordinarily powerful. Because all of our energy is geared towards one particular goal or objective. We know what we want. We understand what we want. And we act accordingly. That automatically eliminates manipulation, deceit, dishonesty. All of these different things are eliminated from the person who lives with honor. Because the person who lives with honor, a person whose words, actions, and deeds are all in alignment, that person has nothing to fear. That person has a reservoir of internal security, internal self-confidence. There are no feelings of inadequacy or low self-esteem for the person who lives with honor. Because that person knows himself. That's why Krishna spends an important part of the 2nd chapter on this aspect alone, Socham, to live with honor. To live with honor, we come to that stage by examining our motives, examining who we are, understanding who we are on a deep, fundamental level. How can we possibly try to accomplish something, achieve success in life if we don't know who we are, if we don't know what we want, if we don't know why we appreciate or do not appreciate certain things in life? If we do not know ourselves, we cannot set objectives and goals for ourselves to achieve. That's what it means to live with honor. We have to examine our motives. We have to ask ourselves why. That's the very premise upon which the Bhagavad Gita is based. The entire 1st chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is crying, complaining, whining about what he does not understand, what he wants to do. The conversation begins with Arjuna asking the question of Krishna, what do I do? What's going on here? What's wrong? Please instruct me. Please tell me what I should do. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is asking questions. Krishna, why this and why not that? Why this and why not that? It is the questioning of ourselves that leads to the ability to live with honor. We have to question ourselves. Why is it that I believe this person will be the cause of my happiness? Why is it that I believe if I have this particular job, I will be happy? Why is it I believe that if I go to this place, I'll be happy? Why is it that I believe that everything outside of me will bring me happiness? Why do I have that belief, that attachment? Conversely, why is it that I become upset when something is taken away from me? Why is it that when someone calls me a derogatory name, I become upset and despondent and discouraged? We have to ask ourselves the question why. The more we ask ourselves why, the more we come closer to our true identity, to who we truly are, our true natures on a fundamental level. We understand what we want, why we want it. It is not enough to say, I want to be happy, or I want to have money. It's not nearly enough. It's not enough for us to go into a restaurant and say, I want to eat. The question is, well, what do you like? I like Chinese food. Well, did you know this is an Italian restaurant? We have to come to understand who we are, what we want in life. That's what the first principle is all about. It is the bedrock of the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. That's why Krishna started with this principle first, understanding who we are on a fundamental level. Because on that basis, we can then go to the other principles of success. When we know who we are, we know what we want, we have a self-understanding, a self-knowledge, a self-realization, then we can set goals and objectives in life. That self-knowledge is a prerequisite for trying to achieve happiness. Otherwise, we're going around in circles, not knowing what we want and where we want to go in life. That's the key. Socha. When we have that self-understanding, when we have that self-knowledge, when we have that self-awareness, our self-identity, then we know what we want. We know what we need in life. And then everything begins to fall into place. I talked about those three aspects of life, our actions, our thoughts, and our words. When we know who we are, when we have our identity, those three aspects of life, our thoughts, our words, our actions, all fall into place. They all act in harmony. They all come together. They all come together in a cohesive unit. That is an extremely powerful person. Can you imagine when you have the energy, you have a goal, you know who you are, you know what you want. Everything about your life is geared towards that particular focus. How can we possibly achieve success if our thoughts are somewhere else, our actions are something else, and our words speak something entirely different? We become scatterbrained. We become insecure. We cannot stick with commitment to a particular goal. When our actions are disassociated from our thoughts, our words are disassociated from our acts, how can we possibly live in honor? The only thing we can do is manipulate, deceive, connive, because we don't know what we want. We don't know where we're going. And that's why people commonly say, I'm feeling like my life is meaningless. All kinds of people say that, from all walks of life. People who are materially successful. They have all the money in the world. They have success on many different levels. And you hear them say also, there's no meaning in my life. You hear the poor people. The people who don't have fame. The people who are just basically, on a material sense, struggling just to get by. They also say, there's no meaning to my life. It has nothing to do with your social economic status. Meaning comes from understanding who we are on a fundamental level. And Krishna tries to drill that to Arjuna before he goes into any aspect of success, any aspect of what you should do with your life. First, understand yourself. First, come to know yourself. That's what we must do. We come to understand ourselves and knowing ourselves by asking ourselves why. Every single day we ask ourselves the question why. It's not a rare achievement. There are people we'll see in life, on TV, at work, walking down on the street. They have this confidence. They know who they are. They have a sense of identity, security, power. And you can see when you talk to these people, you deal with these people, they know what they want out of life. They are spiritually mature. They have their identity. Their actions, their words, their thoughts are all in harmony. They're all in alignment. You become naturally drawn to such people. Such people are powerful personalities. They're not rare. However, for those of us who do not have that maturity, we have to come to that stage. Because we want success. We want success in life. We have to come to that stage through practice. And that practice is examining our motives. The fortunate, they already know who they are. They know what they want out of life. They know that they'd rather Chinese over Italian. It is those of us who do not have that understanding. We have to practice the principles to come to that self-realization. And that is asking ourselves why. Every day, in every incident. When we're feeling happy, ask ourselves why. We're feeling sad, ask ourselves why. Every day. Make it a habit. The more we do it, the easier it becomes. The more we ask ourselves the question why, the more we come to the answer of who we are. The more we come to self-knowledge, self-realization, self-mastery, self-understanding. And then we can go on with the principles of success. Thank you.